Hey, welcome back to the Fantasy 15. And looks like Ryan's getting Thanksgiving started early.
Yes, sir. Got some
Well,
apple pie.
apple pie. So he didn't have that before we went live, and he just sneaks it in and just tempts me with a
Mhm.
pre-Thanksgiving dessert.
Well, there's two things you gotta always have on Thanksgiving: apple pie and IPA.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
so this is the Thanksgiving edition. Florida man. All
that's
right.
right.
All right. So this is the Thanksgiving edition of the Fantasy 15, and it's week 13. And you guys are in most leagues, you're really close to your fantasy football playoffs, right? So there's roughly 2 weeks to go. So a lot of you are either a lock for your fantasy football playoffs or you're still fighting for a spot. And a lot of you already had the trade deadline go by for your fantasy football, you know, trades. So those are already done. So now it's all in. Who can you pick up to sit and start? And really just those final little tweaks for these last 2 weeks to make the playoffs before you get into your playoff run. So hopefully Ryan and I can help you out with that. Again, I hope everyone is going to have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I'm planning on cooking for our family and loved ones that are coming and joining us here at our house. Ryan, what's your Thanksgiving plans?
Well, we got my most of my family is kind of out of state, and we don't necessarily get the chance to see them on Thanksgiving. So we go to my wife's uncle's house. They happen to be Lions fans, so that's always fun. But that's usually we go around 4 or 5 o'clock, like dinner time. Um, and so during the day, we kind of have a friendsgiving, and we go to a friend's house and hang out for a little bit, let the kids play.
Yeah, before we get into the fantasy football piece of this, I got to ask people, what's your top 5 Thanksgiving dishes? If you had to name your top 5 things that you want to see at Thanksgiving tomorrow, Ryan, what is it?
Does beer count or no?
Not,
All
it's
right,
not really a
all right,
dish.
we'll get out of beer
Food.
then. Number one, my wife makes a peanut butter chocolate pie.
Okay.
That's absolutely amazing.
Peanut butter chocolate pie for you.
Yep, that's a big must have. I believe mac and cheese needs to be on every Thanksgiving Day table.
Okay.
Um, and then you got to go with stuffing. If you don't put stuffing in your top five, I can't help you. And then I'm a big, I'm gonna go with another pie and say pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Um,
You got one more
and
left for your
and
top 5.
I know I really just want to make another pie and do apple pie. Like, just give me the
All right.
desserts.
So that's Ryan's ultimate lineup for
I mean,
Thanksgiving.
honorable mention, I guess some sweet potatoes.
If you guys have what your top 5 is for Thanksgiving and you're watching on either YouTube or X, go ahead and throw those in comments. And also, if you have any sit start type questions or any comments that you want to ask us, go ahead and throw those in the comments too. We'll get to those. I'm going to give you my top 5 for Thanksgiving. Got to
Let's
have
hear it.
turkey. It's not Thanksgiving without turkey, right?
I mean, yes, I agree. Also, I think turkey is way overrated.
Sure, but it's like the one time a year where it's like a featured thing. And
Hmm.
so I'll be smoking my turkey.
Nice.
Um, 2, I gotta go with stuffing,
Yeah.
you know? If you don't have
It's
stuffing, 3 for me is mashed potatoes and
mainstream.
gravy. Gotta have it.
Garlic? You like the garlic in the
Got
mashed
Oh,
potatoes?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then how about
Brown
you
gravy with it
yeah, 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 yeah,
or
yeah. I like
turkey
the
gravy.
I'm with you. Then you like skin on or off on your mashed potatoes?
Um, I prefer skin off,
Skin
on
off.
mine.
Okay.
Um, so 4, I gotta go with pumpkin pie,
Okay. I have
uh,
to.
and then I'm
You
probably
do the whipped cream or no whipped cream on a pumpkin pie?
oh, yeah, there's whipped cream.
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, so number 5 for me is probably gotta be this one's tough for me. because I really like if it's a good roll, with butter. I mean,
True.
good bread.
True.
Love that. Other than that, green bean casserole.
That's the most Minnesotan thing I've ever heard in my life. Green bean casserole.
Man, love it. Good
Oh.
stuff. I also make a
Wait,
pretty mean.
do you put like almonds in them or whatever?
No, no.
Don't
There's
some
no
people, isn't
nuts in
that a
there.
thing? There's like
I,
a nut that
no,
some people put in them.
I do not put any nuts, no peas. It's green beans. It's got the crispy fried onions on there.
Okay.
So the other thing that I was gonna say on there is maybe like on a borderline for me is I make a really good it's like a corn casserole that's really good
Ooh,
too.
that sounds
So
good.
it's got regular corn and cream corn in there too, and
Hmm.
it's delicious. But we're gonna bump that one to Christmas
There
here
you go.
coming up. All
Okay.
right, so let's go ahead and take a look at because we're gonna get into our ultimate lineup. So that's our top five. If you want to go ahead and give us your top five dishes, what you guys want to see at Thanksgiving, go ahead and give those to us. But other than that, we mainly care about your questions and comments. I already see one in there from Log Havaders in there. We'll get to you right after our ultimate lineup.
3
So
pies.
3 pies was on Ryan's.
Let's go.
He's he forget about the main dishes. He's skipping to right
It's
to
like, but
dessert.
like, how do you gotta have apple and pumpkin, and then my
Pumpkin
wife
for sure.
makes that chocolate, anyway.
So my wife's parents, they like to do a chocolate silk pie. So
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so they're actually making 2 pies tonight for
Mm.
tomorrow that they're gonna bring over. All right, so ultimate lineup, you know, Ryan's been waiting, at least patiently the last probably since
Few weeks.
mid-Sunday because he knew that this thing was a lock for him. So our week 12 lineup,
Holy smokes.
I got absolutely crushed. Now, Ryan, I was 6-1, he was 1-6, so Ryan needed this one bad, but this was an absolute spanking.
Dang.
Um, Belt to A. You got me big this one. This was the biggest blowout we've had so far. Um, I had a decent week for my Browns defense and CMC. But other than that, man, Ryan, just an amazing week.
Yeah.
You had
Well,
Jameer Gibbs with an almost 50-point day, and
Pilot.
once that happened, I knew I was in trouble, especially with
Oh,
JSN's day that he had. Oof.
oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Same.
tough. I mean, Gibbs was, it was unbelievable. And then the overtime run, and it was just like, okay, like just pile it on. Like you stuck the knife, and now you twisted it. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that was an incredible all-time fantasy football performance by Jameer Gibbs on Sunday, and then JSN followed it up with an amazing performance of his own. So
So
yeah,
so
when you
crazy
have two
thing though.
players combined for 80, it's pretty tough to combat that. And
Yeah.
then when
So
you have
Gibbs had 200 215 on the
60,
ground.
215 on the ground, 264 for the game.
Yeah. So the thing that was kind of weird is that he came up with I think like 40-45 yards receiving, but he had 11 receptions
Yeah, it's crazy.
and a touchdown.
Wow.
Now
Yeah.
it could have been a lot more yards than that off of that many receptions. I mean, he breaks a
Hmm.
couple tackles, but just a monster game for sure.
Crazy.
So that makes things a little bit more interesting this week, as that's 2 in a row. Is that 2 in a row for you or
No,
no, no,
no.
no. We had a break in between there.
I wish.
But still, a
Yeah.
very nice week for you. Um, that's great. You did amazing. And so
Go.
with that, I'm gonna have to have the first pick this week. So, man, I mean, this puts me in a spot because I think in order to do this the right way for me, I gotta take your guy away. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with Gibbs
Wow.
as my number one pick this week.
That's a tough matchup this week, though.
It sure is. But you know what? When they're giving him the ball as many times as they are, I like that.
I mean, they really are like, and it's been more and more. They've kind of drifted away from Montgomery entirely, and they're just featuring Gibbs. So, I mean, it's hard to argue against that.
I don't want you to use them against me again.
Yeah, well, I understand. There's two guys that I really like, and I'm just gonna pick this one based on the favorable matchup,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take Devon Achane.
Knew you were going to do that. He would have been my next pick.
Yeah.
Now he's not ranked as high for me, but he probably should be. But that would have been who I like. I like the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really nice one. All right. With that, I think
Dun, dun, dun.
I am going to go with JSN.
Mm. Mm. I mean, they're playing the Vikings, of course, so it's really going to be predicated on pressure on Darnold. If they can get to him and force him to make some stupid throws, then maybe they can limit, because you're not going to stop Jason's production, but maybe they can limit his production. But I think had you not taken him, I probably would have. So good pick. Having said that, there's not a lot of receivers I love this week, but Joe Burrow's back, and T. Higgins is probably out. So give me Jamar Chase.
Good pick. He's actually my number one receiver this week. But I was hoping to maybe sneak that one by you, but I was not able to.
There's not a ton of receivers I love this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so if, having the opportunity to take a guy like him, then I just got to do it.
Sure.
Chase. Now you got a decision here, because
I do.
this is like the 1 week where I probably wouldn't want to go first.
I am going to go Trey McBride.
Interesting. Interesting. Obviously, good pick. Trey McBride's just crushing it this year. He's the number one tight end since Tucker Kraft got injured anyway.
That hurt me too in my dynasty league.
Killed me.
But I do have Kittle in my league though too, in that same dynasty league.
I have the second highest points in my big money league, which is a yearly redraft.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the second highest points, and I had Malik Neighbors and Tucker Kraft on my team.
Okay.
And they're both injured for the year. Like, if those guys don't get hurt, I'm sitting real pretty. But here we are, still second highest. Anyway, back to the board. All right, so you already got a tight end, so I can just put that on the back burner. And there's a receiver I like, but I don't think you're going to take him. So I'm going to go running back and take. It's a tough matchup, but Jonathan Taylor.
All right. Jonathan Taylor it is.
Mm-hmm. Tough matchup this week against the Texans, who have a pretty stout defense, obviously a good defensive line. Well, they had approximately 474 sacks last week. It seemed like who'd they beat? They beat the who the heck did they play? I can't remember. but whoever it was like every time he dropped back, it was a sack. It wasn't even like a question. Man, who the heck did they play?
So
Oh, was it the Bills?
while you're debating, I'm going to go ahead and pick my receiver, Rashee Rice.
Oh yeah. All right, I like that. I think Rice could have a big game this week.
Facing Dallas.
Yeah.
And I see Ortiz, David Ortiz, or Jason Ortiz, my bad.
Big
I see
Poppy?
ya. So
Is that you?
we'll, yeah, right. We'll get to your questions as well, too, as soon as we're done with the ultimate lineup.
I feel like I'm kind of surprised actually that he made it this far. Maybe you forgot, but give me Puka.
I didn't forget.
You just don't like him against the Panthers? You think JC Horn's going to shut him down? JC
No,
Horn might be hurt for this game.
No, I think that that's a good pick.
Yeah. Devontae's been taking all of his red zone targets.
And then I am going to go ahead. I'm going to go grab Do I want to do this or not?
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
I kind of want to make you make my decision for me.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and do it. Give me Chase Brown.
Chase Brown.
I really like that matchup this week. And I don't know if that was a snipe for you, but I don't want it to be.
No, I wasn't going Brown. I wasn't going Brown because Atlanta's playing the Jets, and I'm taking Bijan.
Okay. So that you are done for running back, and you are done for your flex position.
Done for running back, done for receiver. Which is okay. But Bijan against the Jets, I feel like there's little Kirko chains action might be. It's at New York. There might be some snow. I think they're going to feature Bijan.
So I'm going to go ahead and go get my quarterback. And this week I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes.
You had enough of Josh Allen stuff?
Well, I don't know if I love him this week. I think he could still, it's just, yeah, I don't know if I love him this week.
I almost want to take Dak just so we face head to head. But I don't think I'm going to. Let's see. I can pick any quarterback other than Mahomes now. I can pick any tight end other than McBride now. So why don't I jump out ahead of you on defense? And I will take the Denver Broncos.
You did snipe my defense. You did snipe my defense. And this is
Washington.
This is going to pain me.
Oh, you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But
it is unfortunate. But yeah, I don't have to do it yet because I need a kicker. And I'm going to go with Borregales out of New England again.
Yeah.
He was good for me last week.
Yeah. Kicker's tough. Give me McPherson.
Okay.
I don't know why I went kicker. It doesn't really matter at this point what I pick. I can pick any quarterback, any kicker, any tight end.
And I'm going to go for the Seahawks defense.
Yeah. I don't blame you for. It'd be so sick if Brosmer balled out.
I hope he does. I
Yeah, I
honestly
mean,
hope I get
obviously,
0 points on my defense.
it'd be
But
sick.
if I'm being honest with it, just how we protected the ball, and it's his first ever start in an NFL game, um, you know,
Oh yeah,
and
no,
that's a tough one not to take after you've taken the Broncos from me.
it's gonna be bad. Okay, quarterback. Give me Max Brosman. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I trust him enough for this. Hmm. Ah, I have a weird. There's no logic behind this. It's probably not the best pick, but it's a fun pick. And I don't know, man. The lights will be on him. Monday Night Football. Give me Drake May.
I hope there's a lot of field goals in that game. All right, so Ryan goes Drake May.
What do I got left?
You have a kicker left.
No, I picked McPherson.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
I have a
Evan
tight
McPherson,
end.
you have a tight end left. My bad.
Yeah. No, you're good.
And now I
Dun, dun, dun.
have a flex that I need to pick yet. So for me, I can either go two ways. I can go with St. Brown versus Chicago,
Mhm.
or I think I don't like it, but McCaffrey versus Cleveland is my other option.
You said
I
St. Brown versus who?
versus Chicago.
Who? Who?
I am going to go.
You meant Saquon versus Chicago.
No.
Who? AJ Brown?
Oh, sorry, AJ Brown. My bad. I
Okay.
put St. Brown. Sorry, St. Brown's playing Green Bay. I apologize. AJ Brown versus Chicago. Because I kind of like that matchup. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have AJ Brown's my next wide receiver on my chart available.
Yeah, I like AJ Brown.
I don't love. See, here's my problem. I don't really love AJ Brown because it's unreliable with Hurts and
Yeah.
McCaffrey. I love, but I do not love his matchup going against the Cleveland Browns this week,
It's tough.
and that is a tough matchup. So
I'm
I'm tempted to go with my next running back down from that, just because I feel like that could be a boom or bust thing, and um,
mm,
hmm. So no, you don't have to tell me. I have to timer myself here at this point.
no, you're good. I am excited for that Bears Eagles game though. I think it'll be a fun matchup. With both secondaries are just in shambles right now. I don't know. The Eagles have no one to play safety. I think Cooper DeJean's going to have to go play safety.
James Cook.
That's the pick. That's the right pick.
Sorry, I just had to talk myself into it.
That's all good. I like it. Tight end wise, I kind of like Coastal Loveland this week, to be honest with you, but I don't know that I have the balls for that one. I also like Jake Ferguson this week, and Kittle's tough one, but obviously I like Brock Bowers all weeks. So I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna this is play it safe, and I'm gonna go with Bowers.
I already typed it in for you.
You knew.
That's what I would have done too. He's my number 2 on here.
Yeah,
I love the matchup that he's got this week, so
yeah.
I think that was the right way to go. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Ryan in the background. I'm going to run through the top 15, and then we're going to bring Ryan back. We're going to start answering some of your questions that you guys have. So that's our ultimate lineup that we have. While I'm doing the top 15, please, if you have any, send them for Ryan and I. Your sit and start questions, send in the chat either on X or YouTube, and we're going to go ahead and answer those suckers live for you guys because we only got 2 weeks left for you guys to make your fantasy football playoffs. I was glad to hear on Viking Central that a couple of you have chimed in on our pregame and our postgame show saying that some of the advice that you guys are getting from the Fantasy 15 from Ryan and I is helping you guys in your weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So absolutely keep sending those in chat. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and throw Ryan back, and we're going to go ahead and
Right.
run through our top 15. All right. First up, let's just take a look at this week's games. We got the Packers versus Detroit, Kansas City and the Cowboys, Cincinnati with Joe Burrow coming to face the Baltimore Ravens. We got the Bears at Philly. I really like the Philadelphia Eagles probably in that one. San Fran at the Browns. Tough matchup with the Browns. Shadur, right? In his second start. We got Jacksonville at Tennessee. Houston is facing the Indianapolis Colts. Saints versus the Dolphins. Falcons with Kirk Cousins at the Jets facing Tyrod Taylor. So a couple new faces with backups in that one. Cardinals at Tampa Bay. Can Tampa Bay get it back on track? Bucky Irving's back. The Rams at the Panthers. Vikings at Seahawks. Sam Darnold facing his old team. Vikings are starting most likely Max Brosmer this week. Bills at the Steelers. We got the Raiders at the Chargers and Denver at the Commanders. And then Monday Night Football, Giants versus the Patriots. Now, going back to Thursday, there's 3 games that you get to watch tomorrow on Turkey Day. That's Packers, Detroit, Kansas City Cowboys, and Bengals Ravens. All 3 of those games should be amazing to watch. And as a Vikings fan, I don't have to stress out on Turkey Day. I get to enjoy food and football, and for the most part, other than my fantasy football lineups that I have going on with my different fantasy football leagues, I don't have to stress too much on Turkey Day. So that part's amazing, and I get to watch 3 fantastic games. So that's always cool too. Now, with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into our top 15 for our quarterbacks. And this week, you heard me pick them in our ultimate lineup was no other than Patrick Mahomes versus Dallas. Again, he's facing that Dallas D. He's been scoring up. He put up like 30 points in half PPR last week. And then Stafford, he's my number 2 through 3 touchdowns last week going against Carolina this week. And then Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen at number 3, this could be like a boom game for him potentially too. Last week, not great. But I think he does bounce back in this one against Pittsburgh. And this is one where, he could have a solid game or it could just turn into one of those Josh Allen giant games, I think, potentially too. It all depends on what's going on. If Aaron Rodgers starts that game, hey, they sustain more drives. But if it's Mason Rudolph, potential for Bills, maybe for some turnovers, maybe some shorter fields, and Josh Allen to maybe really stack up and put up some points. And that's what I mean by this could be a boom game for him. Lamar Jackson versus Cincy, again, that's a bad defense. And at the same time, you're going to see Hurts versus Chicago, Herbert versus Las Vegas. But on number 7, Joe Burrow's back. Okay. Now, Joe Burrow, and I messed up on this one. Joe Burrow should be at the Ravens. Sorry, that's supposed to be Baltimore, not Buffalo. But I don't trust Joe Burrow this week because he's been on the shelf. So I really want to start him. He probably doesn't have T. Higgins this week. I just want to see. This is one of those weeks where in one of my leagues, I actually have Joe Burrow and I have Dak Prescott. I'm going to play Dak Prescott this week over Joe Burrow. And that's just because I don't know what we're going to get out of him. At least with Dak Prescott, yes, he's facing Kansas City, but at least I know he's got Pickens and he's got CD Lamb. Okay. So he could have a great week. Absolutely, he could. I have him ranked higher than the Dak. So am I going against my own advice? Yes. I'm just nervous on what I'm going to see Does he have to knock off the rust or not? We'll see. Sam Darnold versus Minnesota. That could be a good game there too for him. I do really like the Bo Nix Washington lineup. And I know Bo Nix is kind of wishy washy at times, but this could be one of those games where he does show up and play. I like Brissett versus Tampa Bay. I think he has Marvin Harrison Jr. back. He's been really throwing well to Michael Wilson now. And of course, he's got McBride. So I think this could be a good week for Brissett. Um, you know, and then got for Green Bay, love Detroit. That could be, or one of those matchups where defense is really playing a role in those two games. So I don't love either quarterbacks, Goff or I don't love this week. Lawrence, I have him at 15 just because it's Tennessee. But again, I don't really like Lawrence in almost any week. That's just kind of how I feel on him. But that's my top 15 for the quarterbacks. I'm going to go ahead and roll into the running backs where I really like Jameer Gibbs. He had 15 attempts, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 receptions for 45 yards, and another touchdown receiving. Amazing. Almost a 50-point week. If you're looking at half PPR, 49.9 points, that's amazing. Brown went over 100 yards last week. He's been having some really good weeks here. And now he's got Joe Burrow back. Chase is back at the field, back from suspension, facing a Baltimore defense. I like Chase Brown this week. McCaffrey, it's hard not to like McCaffrey with how many touches he gets with San Francisco, but he's going against that Cleveland defense. And it's going to be hard for him, as far as minimized opportunities to see the end zone. I don't know if this is one of those games where he's going to get a lot of rushing yards. He's probably going to get a lot more receiving dump off yards, which I don't doubt that McCaffrey's going to get points this week. What I think he maybe struggles with is rushing yards and getting into the end zone. Taylor's another one of those. I love. It's hard not to like Jonathan Taylor this year, but he's going against the Houston Texans, which running defense. They're the number one run defense. That's just a tough matchup. It is. I like Cook at Pittsburgh. I love A-Chain at New Orleans. I think Henry versus Cincinnati is a sneaky one as well. Tempted to take him in our ultimate lineup, Ryan. Bijan at the Jets. I like Kyron Williams versus Carolina as well. That's another good one. Another sneaky one, ETN at Tennessee. I think he is maybe ranked a little bit too low, but I think a good week. There's a lot of good running backs, and there's a lot of good matchups this week. So it's respectable at 11. Trust me. RJ Harvey at Washington. He's at number 15, but this could be a good, big, solid game from RJ Harvey this week. So I almost think that's, embarrassing to have him at number 15. I like our running back matchups this week. If you have flex positions, if you have these running backs, they should be in your flex position because there's not a whole lot of wide receivers this week that I think I absolutely love. So rolling into our wide receivers, who do I love? Jamar Chase. He's got Burrow back. Mom and dad are back together again against Baltimore. Love that matchup. Probably no T. Higgins, so a lot of balls coming Jamar Chase's way. If you're looking for a waiver wire pickup, if you don't already have him, Isavas, you could go ahead and pick him up. I think that's he's probably going to be the number 2 receiver for Joe Burrow to throw the ball. Chase is probably going to get a lot of attention, so he could be a sneaky one as well. JSN, man, every week he's putting up big numbers. He was huge. He put up 167 last week again. Rashee Rice had a great week with 140 plus yards. Now he's going against a Dallas defense, and he has a nose for the end zone. So I like Rashee Rice this week. Puka does what Puka does, right? AJ Brown versus Chicago. Devontae Adams at Carolina, and it's either going to be Devontae or Nakua. One of those two, if not both, are going to go off versus Carolina. So what that tells you is I also like Matt Stafford, right? St. Brown versus Green Bay. St. Brown had a huge week last week. This is going to be one of those games where they're going to move him around a lot, especially with that pass rush. They're going to have a lot of underneath quick slant route type stuff and screens to St. Brown to get him the ball. So that pass rush is going to come in strong. And I know that Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement. I don't think that he would just get plugged into a game like that. But St. Brown, I see getting the ball a lot. I like Pickens. He is questionable, but I do like Pickens versus Kansas City and Lamb. I know I have those two there. Pickens has really looked like the number one receiver lately in that offense instead of Lamb, who had a few drops last week. Nico at Indianapolis. I don't love Nico this week. And, you know, he's got some really good secondary matchup that he's going against and not in his favor against Indianapolis. And that's where it gets a little sketchy. I do like McMillan versus the Rams. I think there's a lot of passing that Bryce Young is going to have to do to try to keep up with the Rams. So I think McMillan is a sneaky one. I like Olave versus Miami as well. We'll see if Baker Mayfield can get going with Ibuka this week against Arizona, and then rounding it up with Waddle and McConkey. So that's my top 15 for wide receivers, and rolling into our tight ends. It's none other than, hey, Trey McBride, man. He's going against a porous Tampa Bay defense. So I love that matchup. Last week he had 9 receptions for 79 yards. He always gets the targets, so he's always getting at least 7+ receptions in a game, and that's big for a tight end. Brock Bowers at the Chargers. I love that matchup as well. George Kittle at Cleveland. That feels like a type of game where George Kittle is going to get a lot of outlet passes, so he should be highly ranked as well. Could be a track meet against Dallas. Travis Kelsey should get opportunities. Gadsden versus Las Vegas. Henry had a huge week last week, and he was our spotlight top fantasy producing tight end last week. So Hunter Henry, take a look at him. I like Goddard versus Chicago. Andrews versus Cincinnati. There should be a lot of opportunities for Andrews and Lamar Jackson to hook up in that game. Ferguson. I do like Johnson for the Giants, facing off against New England with Winston. But I think Jackson Dart is possibly starting this week and back from his concussion. And Johnson and Dart, even if Dart starts, Dart and him had very good chemistry, especially in the red zone. So either way, I like him at number 10. Pitts at the Jets. Warren's a little bit again. That Houston defense is tough. So Warren could be a little bit low because um, just because of that defense, but that could be somebody that Daniel Jones is looking to hook up with often against that matchup. I do like Fannin, who has been out snapping Njoku. Um, he had more than double the snaps last week over Njoku. So I like him in this matchup again this week. And I think with a better pure passer in Shadur Sanders than Dylan Gabriel, I like him at number 14 versus San Francisco. And then Juwan Johnson at Miami. Moving on to our kickers at number 1. And this may surprise you at number 1. I took my number 1 kicker, right? Um, and I have to get rid of something here. I got too many things open. 1 second. Let me open up my kicker graphic here too. And I got Borregales going against the Giants, and then Cam Little at Tennessee. I like Aubrey at Kansas City, Myers at Minnesota, Dicker, all the regulars, right? Butker has climbed a little bit because he's going against Dallas. Should be plenty of opportunities there against that Dallas defense. Another one I really like is Evan McPherson, which Ryan picked. And I maybe have him too low as well. But I like McPherson against Baltimore. Predator against Pittsburgh is a sneaky pick. And then also Chris Boswell versus Buffalo, I think is a good picker to have this week, good kicker to have this week as well. So uh, that's where I am on kickers. And who sniped me? Ryan with my defense. He went and picked up the Broncos, which I like them against Washington. And then sadly, as a Vikings fan, I have to go with the Seahawks facing a rookie kicker this week in Max Brosmer. Even though I sneakily hope and think that Max will actually surprise some people with his ability, with his quick releases and reads, and just a completely different passer than what JJ McCarthy is. I think he will surprise some people, but again, it's still his first NFL game. There is the possibility of some turnovers in this game, um, and sacks. You're just adjusting to some firsts in the NFL in your first regular season start. Could there be jitters? we'll see. Chargers versus Las Vegas, Jaguars at Tennessee, also really good matchups. I do like the Rams versus Carolina, Falcons at the Jets, still kind of like that one, and still 7 Niners versus Shadur. That could be a good one. We'll see how that goes. But then after that, Dolphins versus New Orleans, and then it starts falling off for me. That the 9 through the rest of them, those are kind of maybes for me. The only other sneaky one I kind of like in that is that Eagles versus Chicago. I think could be a surprise to where I think Chicago might have a rougher day than um, many maybe think, just because that's a really good defense that they're going to be facing with the Eagles. Um, I think that running game might struggle a little bit versus the Eagles in the passing game. They get pressure on the quarterback. We'll see if they're able to take down the slippery Caleb Williams. But those are the defenses I like this week in the NFL. And that pretty much wraps us up for our top 15. I'm going to welcome back Ryan. And Ryan, any thoughts on that top 15?
Off the top of my head, I noticed that you left Jettas off your receiver list.
I did. I thought about putting him on a little bit late. I just got to see Minnesota be able to get him the ball. And they
I
have
understand that.
tried. They have tried. I think accuracy's been an issue, but until he can start putting up requisite numbers, um, it's hard to put
Yeah.
him up there.
No, I get it. I don't feel like the I don't feel like Brosmer could be any worse than McCarthy has been. So
Sure. All right, we're going to jump into some of your guys' questions that you guys have. We're going to start off with Loghen Vaders. And hey, fellas, you got to sit one. Jacoby Myers, Quinshon Judkins, or Wandale Robinson. Keep in mind, Wandale Robinson had a giant week last week. Now,
yeah, because
he's got, yeah.
Jameis, baby.
So Jameis went off big, and Wandale Robinson had 156 yards receiving. So
Uh-huh.
it was a monster week for him. Now it sounds like Jackson Dart is starting this week, which Jackson has been throwing. He's had some bigger weeks too. But
You saying
what do you
Dart
think?
starting?
Uh, I'm I'm hearing that Dart is possibly starting this week.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Um, out of those, I would probably go Judkins. I know Niners, it's a tough matchup, but Cleveland's at home. I think just a couple goal line carries. The only reason I don't like Wandale as much this week is because Christian Gonzalez is really good and
Mhm.
he's going to be all over him. So,
Yep. So, facing off, against Cleveland is San Fran. Um,
mhm.
I think I'm with you. I like that Quinshon Judkins matchup probably the most out of there. He's got a nose for the end zone as well. That's who I would like is Quinshon in that one. So the next question we got is from Jason Ortiz. Set my lineup this week. He's got one QB, two running backs, three receivers, tight end, two flex. So we get to
Mm,
run his team this week, is what I'm
is
getting
it
here.
super flex? All right, let's just assume it's not super flex. You can only start
I
one
don't like
quarterback.
Daniel Jones this week as at quarterback.
No, I'd probably go Burrow.
I like Burrow or Brissett this week. I still am a little bit hesitant on Burrow, but I would go Burrow in this case. So that's how I have him ranked. So I would go Burrow. After that, I would go Brissett and then Jones as far as my ranking.
Yeah, I'm with you. Running back. I mean, you have to start Barkley because he's Saquon Barkley. You're not going to sit him when your other running backs are
And he can
Javante,
start two
Tyron,
flex. Keep
Hampton.
that in mind as we get through wide receivers and
Yeah,
tight ends and everything.
is Hampton like back? We know that for sure.
So in the first week's back, whether that be for any running back, there's always like a slowly working them back. They usually don't give them like a full load. So I hate that. So
You said full load.
yeah, they're usually not carrying as much as they typically would as a full-time starting running back right away in that first game back. So I like Barkley, Javante, Kyron as your three receivers, one of them being a flex in there for sure. And then you got Chase, Nico, and Sutton. Now, I like Chase and I like Sutton this week. I can't say that I really love Nico this week, but I would probably take Nico as your third receiver, and then maybe I go Tyrone Tracy as your flex, and Kittle at tight end.
I love Tyrone Tracy the rest of the season. Look at, and by the way, we can get into it if you want, but I just made a trade in my league right before today was trade
Let's hear it.
deadline at
Yeah,
noon.
let's hear it.
All right, we'll talk about it now. I massive trade, as my team is second in the league in points, but I currently sit in fourth place. 6 teams make the playoffs. And I have Derrick Henry and James Cook. Now, I know I'm like, the playoffs are pretty much on lock. So I start looking and analyzing my lineup to figure out who they're playing weeks 15, 16, 17, because those are the playoff weeks.
Yep.
If I don't have a bye week 1, then I got to play week 15, week 16 championships, week 17. All right. Anyway, going through looking at all the different players, if there's any options, I decided to make a trade. I took James Cook and Derrick Henry and Ted McMillan, and I shipped them all 3. In return, I received Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, and Justin Jefferson. Now, in that league is a half point PPR, but there's bonus.
Who did you all send? Derrick Henry, Cook?
Henry, Cook, and Tet McMillan for Taylor, Jones, and Jettos. I wasn't even trying to be
Daniel
a homer
Jones?
in this case. No. Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
And Jetta?
And Jettos. Yeah. I wasn't even trying to be a homer in this case. It just kind of worked out that way. But the reason why I did this is because I was looking at Tyrone Tracy, who's on my lineup, who's on my team. And look at the last 3 opponents that the Giants have this season. And tell me it's a bad idea. Not the last 3, week 15, 16, 17, I should say.
So do I have this right? You traded Cook, Henry, and McMillan for Taylor, Jones, and Jefferson.
Correct.
Okay. So those of you in the chat, did he make the right trade?
Yeah.
If it's me, I like who you had. So I would have stayed with what you had. Now I love Taylor. But I don't know if I've seen enough production out of Jones and Jefferson, and Brosper's starting this game. Who's starting the rest of the season?
I mean, I literally, I don't think it can get worse for Jefferson. I think he's at the rock bottom. I don't think whoever's quarterback, it's not going to get any worse than it is. But if you look at in this particular league, and I did all my homework, points per game so far this season, Cook and Henry average out to 35 points per game combined. Taylor and Jones average out to 35 points per game this season. So the running backs are essentially a wash if you go based on points per game. Then the real trade becomes McMillan for Jettos. I trust Jettos the rest of the way. But more importantly than that is I feel like I set myself up really good with Tyrone Tracy being my third running back, just because his the playoff weeks, 15, 16, 17, this is his opponents. The Giants play the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Raiders.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and so I know Tyrone
I
Tracy should do all right. So I know he could step it up. So if I can get the same production out of Tyrone Tracy that I would have gotten out of Derrick Henry, but then flip it and be able to get Jonathan Taylor on my lineup and trade McMillan for Jettas, I feel like I'm sitting pretty good for the playoff run. That was my whole reasoning behind it. And if you look at who James Cook plays the last weeks 15, 16, 17, the Bills have a tough schedule the last 3 weeks of the season, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the last 3 weeks, but 15, 16, 17, they play, here it is, New England, so tough defense, Cleveland and Philly.
And those are things that you as listeners need to take a look at as you're trying to make sit start or pick up people on the trade wire, on the waiver wire. Sorry, on the waiver wire before you get into the playoffs. Especially when you're taking a look at defenses, is who do they have, especially in week 15 and 16 that they're playing, or 14 if that's going to decide whether or not you make the playoffs. But one of the things, if you made any trades right before the deadline, go ahead and throw those in chat, and maybe we can just kind of evaluate, did you make the right move? All right, let's get to some other questions in the chat. And what I am seeing is Lily White on YouTube says Jacoby Myers or Cortland Sutton this week. I'm a Cortland Sutton guy this week against
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like how the quarterback's coming along there, so I would agree.
Now, if we take a look at the matchup, if you're looking at Jacoby Myers, the Las Vegas Raiders this week, they're taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. I apologize. Jacoby Myers is now with the Jaguars. My bad. He is facing the Tennessee Titans. That could be a matchup that favors them, I guess, too. But I do like Cortland Sutton this week. I just feel like this is going to be a big week for Bo Nix facing the Washington Commanders, and I really like them this week. That's kind of where you're at.
Yeah, I agree. I know.
All right, Jelly of the Month, 231 out of YouTube says need PPR tight end Henry versus the Giants, Strange or versus Tennessee, or Loveland versus Philly. Ryan, I'll let you have a go at this first.
I mean, I think the safest pick is probably Henry versus the Giants. He's coming off a big week. Also, Drake May likes him a lot. They tend to leave the middle of the field open, but I do love Loveland. I love Loveland this week against Philly. I think he's been coming on a lot of late, and Caleb's really enjoying his new toy. So
I'm the same way. Henry's number one for me, then Loveland, and then Strange is how I would go with that too.
Yeah.
Jelly says he's got one more: Juwan Jennings versus Cleveland or Mooney versus the Jets. Ryan, go ahead and take it.
Well, since Jennings, I mean, Purdy's been targeting Jennings quite a bit. So I'd probably go Jennings versus Cleveland. I know Cleveland's a tough matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though. Kirk can sling a little bit. Maybe Mooney.
So the big thing is Drake London?
I'm gonna stick with my gut and go Juwan Jennings.
Absolutely. So I think I like that as well too, and I think Drake London may not start this week, and I think that's why Mooney could be a good pick. I don't know if I've seen whether he's for sure starting or not this week. It's still early in the week as far as injuries go to see whether or not he'll be back. So I like the Juwan Jennings pick.
Cool.
Play Burrow or Dart. We kind of talked about that. I like Burrow this week. He's my number 7 quarterback. Jackson, he's just coming back off of an injury of the concussion. If you take a look at who the Giants are facing this week, where are they again?
Patriots. Monday night.
Patriots on Monday Night Football. I don't love that matchup for Dart.
Yeah, I'd go Burrow, but I don't know. I like Dart a lot for the rest of the year.
I just think Burrow's, he's going to be back. He's facing a weaker defense than what Dart, who is in his rookie year, is facing in the Patriots.
Yeah.
Barkevius Mingo. Well, look at this. Do I trade away Pittman and Waddle for Jamar Chase? Now, here's the thing. You're getting into the playoffs, so this is kind of a loaded question on who else you have on your roster.
Right.
So, Barkevius, if you have time, if you can give us who else you have on your roster for wide receivers right now, I think that would help us a little bit more. I'm guessing if you're trading for Jamar Chase, you can probably start 2 or 3 receivers, in a flex.
Yeah, and I assume if
know.
you're asking these questions, by the way, you're probably got a pretty decent record at making a run for the playoffs. Chase is 15, 16, 17 weeks. He plays Baltimore, Miami, and Arizona.
Those are good matchups.
Those are good matchups. Very good matchups. So, giving away 2 guys who are wide receiver ones on their teams, and it's a tough pill to swallow. But when you're getting perhaps the best receiver in the game, and he's getting his
got
quarterback back,
do it.
Oh,
Trade done.
what do you got to lose? Is there anyone else in your league?
Send it.
Is this a 2-team league? Hey, a Puka, Amon-Ra, and Devontae.
Send it. Send that trade. That done deal. Done deal. You got Puka and Amon-Ra.
He doesn't even start those
Devontae.
guys.
Man.
Jeez.
Done deal. Your 3 starters almost the rest of the year.
Also, can I join your league?
Puka, Amon-Ra. Well, I don't know. He's got all the good players, right?
Well,
he's 7-5 though. I mean, who else does he have at running back and quarterback? You know what I mean?
Oh, well, he can't have a running back at that point.
Yeah. So very good. Awesome. He says he's 10-man. He says that he's accepting right now. That's awesome. Well, Barkevius, and for any of you else, other individuals that are out there that are interested, send me a message and the account. Ryan and I'll take a look at it. Next year, we're going to be looking for individuals that are interested, that are avid fantasy footballers, that want to be part of a fantasy 15 fantasy football league that would, name appropriate, it'd be a league that would kind of be a part of the show as well. But if you want to be in a league with us and you're interested in that, please send us a message as to, why you want to be in the league. It'll be a league safe type league as far as the money goes for that one, and be ran through Sleeper. So if you're interested in that, please make sure that you send that to us and just shoot us a message on Fantasy 15.
$1,000 buy-in. No big deal.
Yeah, he says 10-man. He's accepting right now.
Go get it.
No. We'll make it something that's reasonable. We might get some other individuals as well too that that some of you guys might know or that have been guests on the show that are interested in fantasy football. So kind of like a little mix of individuals.
I'm gonna talk to Cam Dantzler, get him in the league.
Yeah, that'd be fun too. And he'll actually we're just about setting a date, and Cam is actually going to be back on Viking Central for another episode here yet this season. So we just haven't finalized the date, but there's a little teaser as well. All right, so Jason Ortiz comes back. Is Jaden Daniels worth picking up? I currently have Joe Burrow and Bo Nix as quarterbacks. If you're in a dynasty league, I would say yes, but if you're just in a regular league, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would still say picking
who do you
up because
have
Bo Nix isn't as reliable always, but so that could depend on matchups. And then Joe Burrow, he's just coming back off injury. Do we know that he's like healthy? And then do they shut him down? If they end up losing this week, what do they have to play for?
I mean, who do you have on your bench that you would have to cut to pick up JD5, or do you have an open IR spot? Like, he's absolutely worth picking up. The guy was, I mean, I know this year he wasn't what he was last year so far, but you never know. Like, he could show those flashes and still be an incredible player. Yes, pick him up. Surprised he's available.
Jason says, do you start defenses against your own players? For example, I have Genty and the Chargers D. It's good this week. Should I avoid that or does it matter?
Yes, because if one player makes that big a difference against your defense, then that player went off so much that it didn't really
Mhm.
matter what your defense did. So,
I think it
yes,
depends. I think it depends.
no nuance.
Uh,
Pick a side.
I think no, I think it depends. It depends on how good that defense is. Um, say it's the Broncos defense. I really don't
Yeah,
care.
but like if the Colts are playing the Broncos, you're still starting Jonathan Taylor.
Mhm.
You know what I
But
mean?
yep. But if I have like let's just say the Falcons defense, I'm probably not going to play the Falcons defense if I'm playing Matt Stafford that week. Um, just the things that are going to hurt me. You
Yeah,
know, um, then you're not really I would look for different options in that case. So
right.
that's where I say it matters. But if I have a defense that should score well that week, I'm playing them because they're not hurting your quarterback. Your quarterback could hurt their points, but I mean, again, if you think that they're going to get like sacks or turnovers, depending on who they're facing, then yeah, absolutely, I'm going to play them. That's just kind of where I'm at. So in a lot of cases, it probably doesn't matter. Jason, you must be in a lot of leagues because he has another set my lineup.
Jesus,
I'll,
Jason.
I'll take a shot. He sent us two other ones. I'm just gonna take a shot at. We'll do
So
one
many
more.
leagues.
Yeah, we'll
Jason,
do
you have
one
so
more
many
of these.
leagues.
We'll do one more of these, Jason. He's got one quarterback. All right. So we can choose one quarterback out of Nick's Purdy, Burrow, or Trevor.
Mm,
I don't like Trevor Lawrence. So that one's out.
no,
Out of
they
those,
play the Texans, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
like
not
Purdy
for.
versus Cleveland. I'd probably have to go Joe Burrow in this one for your quarterback.
Yeah.
As far as your two running
No,
backs,
Trevor Lawrence, dude. Trevor, they play the Titans.
I
I go.
understand.
I go Trevor Lawrence
How often does Trevor Lawrence put up big numbers in fantasy?
when they play the Titans.
We're gonna come back to this. Travis Etienne just putting up points. All right. Rico, Hampton, Vidal, Neal, Manungai, Knight, Tuden, Pollard,
You
Stevenson.
can't
So, oof,
can't start Hampton and Vidal.
how do you have that many running backs on your roster?
I mean, there are a lot of really mid running backs. You're starting Rico
Rico,
no matter what. You're starting Rico, and if Hampton's playing Hampton, I guess.
maybe you're starting Pollard. I don't like Manungai this week versus
No,
Philly. Tuden, he's not the
terrible.
starter. He's just not the starter. And
Mm-mm.
Stevenson, he's not the starter either.
It's Rico and Hampton, like I said.
So, and then Puka,
If
Nico, Teta, Wandale. There's your starting three or starting four right there. So you're gonna take three, and at least Wandale is gonna be a flex, in my opinion.
you're starting, he has two flexes. So you're Puka,
Yep.
Nico, Tet, and Wandale. Yeah. And oh, you have three wide
Shakir.
receivers in a flex.
So Shakir
Yeah. Yeah.
and Tyler Warren as your tight end.
Yeah.
Done.
Ricky Pearsall hasn't, since he's been back, hasn't done anything yet. Although he did get an end zone target that got picked off in the last game.
Yeah. But
With
Shakir
32
has been reliable for Josh Allen this year. So
Yeah,
I would go that way as your other flex
and
if
then
needed.
tight end, I think you go Tyler Warren.
Yeah. It's the
It's
only
the only
option he gave
option.
us.
I
So
know. I think you had that one by yourself.
all right,
Uh,
so let's jump into our best bets. That's all the questions I
oh,
see right now. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into our best bets. Last week was better for me, but it was rough for both Ryan and I.
yeah.
Ryan ended up going 2-3 last week, but he's still sitting with an overall record of 18-12. So you're doing really well. Um, I'll let you go ahead and talk through your week 12.
Yeah. I mean, Jacksonville, Arizona, one went to overtime, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jacksonville ended up winning by 3.
because I think it was close. I think I was close to the under, and then late field
Yes,
goal
they
put
won
it
by 3 in
over.
overtime.
Yeah,
Jacksonville did.
yeah. So if yeah, it was. I mean, it was close, but I lost. Um, Pats -8. I think they won by 6.
6.
So
Yeah. I take a hit. I took a hit on that one too.
yeah, it's tough. Seahawks Titans, nice over. That was never a question. Pretty sure that was like 60-point game or something crazy. I don't know. Colts Chiefs, they had them, man. They almost beat the Chiefs, but either way, +3.5 was a lot of points, so that was a pretty easy win. And then, I'm done with Tampa. I'm done. I'm done
Tam-
with Tampa, and I'm
Tampa
not.
wasn't going
I'm
to do it,
not betting
right?
against the Rams the rest of the year. So the Tampa burned me, I think, twice so far this year. So I'm just done with them.
That was a rough one. So I came in, I went 2-3 as well. I'm at 12-18, so I got some work to do. Bills, Houston Texans, it didn't go my way to where the Bills were able to beat the Texans, let alone cover. And then the Patriots in Cincinnati, we talked about that. Ryan and I had the same bet on that one. But I also took the Jaguars versus Arizona, and I barely covered in overtime to make sure that I got the win there. And then Atlanta and the Saints. I really thought that they would be able to beat the over, and they ended up getting 34 points in that game. So not quite what I needed. And then the Panthers at San Francisco, I was able to cover the 7 points in that one with the 20-9 victory that the Niners had and get the W. So let's move on to week 13. And Ryan, I'll let you start with your week 13 best bets. Now, I forgot to update your record. Your record is 18-12. Forgot to update it on this graphic, but Ryan is actually 18-12.
Yeah. Okay. We got the under in Green Bay, Detroit, Thanksgiving Day game on short rest. Lions coming off an emotional overtime victory. I don't think the Packers haven't been scoring a ton of points. I think the Lions have a bit of a hangover. Plus, it's a short week, so I feel like the under makes sense there. Kansas City at Dallas. I really like what Dallas has been doing. Kansas City's played a ton of tight games, 3.5 points. I feel like Dallas can keep it close. Dallas's defense has really started to look a lot better since adding Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson. So I like Dallas +3.5. I feel like Dallas has a chance to win that game on Thanksgiving. It might be an outside chance, but I think they have a chance. The over in Miami and New Orleans. You got burned by an over in a Saints game, so I figure I'll give it a shot. 42.5. I like what the Dolphins have looked good lately. They have a weak schedule, but they've looked good, and uh, they have a very, very, very outside chance of making a playoff push. So I think they'll probably put up a bunch of points this week. Bears and Eagles. I mean, Chicago's 8-3, Philly's 8-3. I don't understand them being 7 point favorites, even though it's at home and the Bears' schedule hasn't been all that difficult. They've been in a ton of close games. Reminds me of the 22 Vikings. I just don't see them getting beat by 7 points. So that's a lot of points. So I say take the Bears. And then Falcons -2.5 against the Jets. I don't know, man. It's the Jets. That's really all that is. I don't know. It's the Jets. I Kirk looked pretty good last week. I think Atlanta can cover that spread.
All right. Well, I think you have some good picks in here, some solid ones. That's a tough game, that Kansas City Chiefs Cowboys game, to try to call. And I don't know if I agree with you on the Bears Eagles, but hey, I've seen weirder things with the Eagles yet this year, so definitely could be one where you end up getting that victory in there. Um, they just have to cover, right?
They just have
Bron-
to cover.
Broncos at the Commanders. I really like the Broncos this week, and I don't love the Commanders. So I think Denver is going to be able to cover that, even though it's at Washington. The Cardinals at Tampa Bay. Cardinals versus Tampa Bay Bucks. Bucks have been playing just some weird football lately, and I'm Brissett, and the Cardinals have been playing pretty solid. So I just like that matchup against Tampa Bay. Um, we'll see. Baker can make me pay. Moving on to Kirk versus the Jets. I'm going to go ahead and take the Falcons at the Jets. That 2.5. I like that. Like that number, and I think they kind of get it going this week. And then the Texans versus the Colts, I'll take that under. Uh, Two really good defenses facing off. I'm thinking it's probably going to be lower scoring of a ball game, at least lower than 44.5. And then
Mm-hmm.
same thing with the Packers and Detroit. I just think those are two defenses that, I'm not saying it's going to be a Philadelphia Green Bay type of game at halftime where it's 0-0. But I don't think that this is going to end up in a track meet between the two teams. So I'm going to take the under in that game as well. Ryan, your thoughts?
No, I mean, obviously we agree on Green Bay and Detroit. I think that's I don't know. Hopefully that under hits, but I feel pretty confident about that one. And then Houston or Indianapolis, they looked unstoppable there for a while. In the last few weeks, they've kind of looked pedestrian, so I don't hate that under at all. Arizona plus 3.5 at Tampa. Tampa's had so many injuries; they haven't looked great. So that pick makes sense too.
All right. Well, taking a look at your guys' comments, I don't see that you have anything else in there. We did have our ultimate lineup, and you can see it on the bottom. I don't have my graphic quite ready, but we'll roll through the bottom. I had Patrick Mahomes, Gibbs, Brown at running back, Chase Brown, JSN, Rasheed Rice at flex. I had Cook, and then I had McBride as my tight end, Borgalis as my kicker, and defense Seahawks. Ryan
I
picked up
went,
Drake May. Go ahead.
yeah,
You can run
yeah.
through them.
I went May. A Chain was my first pick. Jonathan Taylor at running back. Jamar Chase. Puka Nakua at flex. We go Bijan Robinson. Tight end Brock Bowers. Kicker Evan McPherson. And defense the Broncos.
Now, the way that we have been doing this, I think it has evolved into a better format for both Ryan and I. And, hopefully we'll be able to do it for a full season next week. We only got a couple more weeks of our fantasy ultimate lineup here coming. And you guys only have a couple more weeks before the playoffs. Now, once the playoffs start, we're still going to help you with your playoffs to get through this. And I think, Ryan, you still want to do the ultimate lineup through the playoffs as well? Yeah,
Um, yeah, of course.
at least through the playoffs.
New season. We'll be 0-0 going into week 15
Yeah,
and best 2 out of 3.
yeah, we'll just cut it off after week 17. So
17,
that
yeah.
last week we won't do that. The
We
ultimate
go
lineup here.
best 2 out of 3 for and how about this? So, did you lock in you must have what week are we in?
13.
13. So 14. So I can't okay. So you locked in first place in our 2-man ultimate lineup league.
I'm just kidding.
So, how about throughout the playoffs? We can talk about this off air too, but throughout the playoffs, you get first pick.
Throughout?
Well, you locked up first seed. So
Oof.
I think throughout the playoffs, you get first pick, and then we do best 2 out of 3, and that's our playoff.
Hmm.
Or we could do cumulative score.
Eh, We can think
We'll
about
talk
it.
about it. We'll talk
We can
about it.
think about it.
This
Um,
is live producing right here.
we could talk about and think it over. Regardless, I really love the fact that we have followers that are coming on, whether it be this show or on Viking Central. Some of you that follow us on there, which we are also doing pregame and postgame shows. And you guys are letting us know that Ryan and I are giving you really good fantasy football advice to where it's helping you out with your league. I think that's awesome. We're always continuing to try to make this a better show, a better product for you guys every week. And just make sure that you're following our social media links and you subscribe, whether that be the TikToks, you see the YouTube channel. Make sure that you're following us there on YouTube. We're putting out YouTube shorts out there too, but go ahead and like that as well too. Check out our link tree and appreciate everyone with your comments and your start, and your trade comments all year long that you've been providing for us and what you provided yet tonight. So thanks again for watching both Ryan and I talk about fantasy football, and we share with you our wins and our losses. Thanks for joining us again. Ryan, any last comments for Turkey Day?
No, have an amazing Thanksgiving. Thank you to all who watch and listen, and make sure if your uncle's talking too much, just turn the volume up on the TV.
And hey, you got 3 games tomorrow. You got
There you
3
go.
games. You get
And
to
one on Friday.
and one on Friday. Don't forget about the Friday one. Set your lineups because again, you got 3 games tomorrow. One on Friday. You just heard from Ryan. Set those lineups. Make sure that they're locked in. And then, lastly, you heard our top 5 for Turkey Day. If you heard Ryan and I, we both had pie in our top 5.
So much
Uh,
fun.
so if you didn't get pie, either go out and buy one or make one. You got to have pie with
Gotta have
Thanksgiving.
so much pie.
And if you're frying a turkey, don't burn your house down.
Do it
All right,
outside.
do it outside and slowly. You don't just drop it in there. Slowly. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. And for Fantasy 15, happy Turkey Day from both Ryan and I. And we'll see you next week. Go get that dub in your fantasy football league, and you're one step closer to making your fantasy football playoffs. So Fantasy 15, we're your source for fantasy football. Have a good week, everyone.